Welcome back. You're watching Plain Speak. Congress MP Shashi Tharoor conceded that he was left with egg on his face in opposing India's stance when the Russia-Ukraine war broke out 3 years ago. He said that due to the policy that was adopted, the country is now in a position where it can make a difference to lasting peace. Earlier, Shashi Tharoor had criticized India's stance when Russia had attacked Ukraine. He had called for condemnation for the aggression. But this time, be it the first time Tharoor has praised the centre and the Prime Minister in particular, and he's done so twice in the last 2 days. Back in 2014, this was when the NDA government had just about come to power, and as far as foreign policy goes, Shashi Tharoor seems to have always been a fan of this government's policy. In a surprise praise from Narendra Modi, Shashi Tharoor had said that the opposition would be churlish in ignoring the voices of inclusive outreach of the new Prime Minister. 5 years later, Shashi Tharoor praised the Prime Minister again, stating that he should be commended whenever he says or does the right thing, arguing that this would lead credibility to the opposition's criticism when the Prime Minister errs. Shashi Tharoor even praised the centre when Kerala got its first Vande Bharat train, saying that the progress must be beyond politics and that the government has proved the same. This Member of Parliament from the Congress praised Narendra Modi for his outreach to the Islamic world, describing it as exemplary. He's perhaps the only Indian Prime Minister that has made as many visits to the Middle East. Congress leader Shashi Tharoor shot a rare praise for Prime Minister after President Donald Trump described the Indian Prime Minister as a better negotiator than him. Unfortunately for Shashi Tharoor, that's something that irked his party, also seeking explanation from him over it. Clearly, Tharoor has broken ranks within the party this time once again. The Congress, on the other hand, has been very vocal in its opposition to the Indian government's foreign policy. There are several instances that leave us wondering if the party is against the centre or against the country, as the BJP alleges. For one, Congress continues to claim that China has usurped our land. The centre has been silent over it, is the allegation. It says that the centre has no plans in mind whatsoever to claim our land back. This despite the External Affairs Minister, the Prime Minister, several other leaders of the BJP on the floor of the Parliament going on to say that this is not the case. In October 2023, the Congress party tied itself up in knots after a resolution of the party's working committee reaffirmed its support to the Palestinian cause without mentioning the horrific attack that was carried out by Hamas on Israel on that music festival in October that started this long-drawn war. The Congress continues to use the global tariff war waged by the United States, most recently the threats coming in from President Donald Trump to corner the centre. And how can we forget the kind of comments that had come to the fore when the Indian government, the Indian army especially, had conducted the surgical strikes on our neighbour, targeting the terror facilities that seem to be flourishing in Pakistan. So as we see this candid admission coming to the fore from Shashi Tharoor once again with his praise for the Prime Minister, more than him is the Congress left with egg on their face.
जब भी हम शांति के लिए बात करते हैं तो विश्व हमें सुनता है, क्योंकि ये बौद्ध की भूमि है, ये महात्मा गांधी की भूमि है, तो विश्व हमें सुनता है.
Answer the question that you just asked, Yalla. As an Indian government a person making such a decision, those considerations would really have to be uppermost before they say yes or no. But I can see it entirely possible that in these circumstances, India would say yes.
सबको आज सामने आकर शशि थरूर जी के इस स्टैंड की सराहना करनी चाहिए. भारतवर्ष के इस यूनिक डिप्लोमेटिक पोजीशन जिसके लिए प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का नेतृत्व दायी है, उसकी सराहना करनी चाहिए.
Modi ji's policy, the foreign policy of Bharat, was eventually correct, where India can now stand shoulder to shoulder both with United States and Russia.
को इस बात का अधिकार है कि जो नेशनल इश्यूज होते हैं या इंटरनेशनल इश्यूज होते हैं उस पर अपनी व्यक्तिगत राय दे सकते हैं.
Let's open this up. Rohan Gupta, spokesperson of the BJP, said Asad Abbas, political analyst, continue to be with us here on this broadcast. Asad Abbas, let me begin by asking you, why is the Congress completely silent today? They haven't even bothered to distance themselves from Shashi Tharoor.
I'm sure in due course of time, Poonamji, the response will certainly come through. But let me tell you something about Shashi Tharoor ji. I've followed him over the last 10 years. Many a times he's been a member of parliament, his erudite speaker, and everything that he's done is so excellent. One important message that he gave and also resonated with Adanya Pradhan Mantri Modi ji has been that the opposition is the backbone of democracy. When the ruling dispensation is going wrong or there is an error, it is the opposition which sets it right. Also, we need to understand that here in this context, Mr. Shashi Tharoor has been right in calling out that, looking at a world leader, he has been able to meet both the world leaders like Zelensky to even Putin in 2 weeks and been able to strike a balance. I think when it comes to India, when it comes to coming together as a country, as a sovereign nation, it's a great step. I don't think that onus or anything of that lies with the whole of Congress party. Of course, Shashi Tharoor is rightfully so in making his belief, his stand, his statement come through. But of course, certainly the Congress will hold its own stand, and in due course of time, it shall come through.
Sure, the Congress is not obligated to echo what Shashi Tharoor has been saying, and in fact, they haven't. And they have pulled him up on multiple occasions in the past for trying to break ranks from the party and say things that put them in an awkward position. But is this, Rohan Gupta, the writing on the wall that Shashi Tharoor is seeing, which the Congress party is not? Because many a times we've seen the questions that are being raised over this government's foreign policy over the last 1 decade, be it China, be it Pakistan, be it the issue of taking sides as far as Israel was concerned most recently. Is that something that perhaps the Congress party could take cue from?
Something which is indefendable should not be defended. That's a problem of Congress party. You have right to oppose Modi government. You have right to oppose BJP. But in that process, if you start opposing country, people will not like that. You see many instances like PM's US visit. Then also Mr. Shashi Tharoor praised, or any other issue, whether it is Palestine or Israel or Ukraine or Russia. India has been taken very, very mature stand, and which has been appreciated by everybody across the globe, rank and file. Why you have to oppose that? You do politics, but politics is not necessary to be done in each and every case where it is crystal clear that your narrative is completely wrong. Still opposition parties are opposing something where India is being made proud. I think this is the basic problem. Shashi Tharoor is the opposition leader. That doesn't mean that he has to oppose everything. If he praises something, that increases the reliability of the opposition. But so-called darbaris of the Congress party today, they don't understand that. They feel that if we criticize Modi or attack Modi directly or government, our role as an opposition party is done. No, you have to act as a responsible opposition parties. When something you cannot defend, you should not question that. I'll give you one example. When they were trying to support Palestine or trying to raise voice against Israel, same time Hindus were butchered in Bangladesh. Not even for the next three months from that event started, not even a single Congress leader or opposition leader raised any questions on that because of appeasement politics. So when your narrative or your stand is influenced by your objective behind, I think people will not trust you. That's the core issue. When you create, when you come out to the people, you should think about the country. You should think about the people of the country. Then and then people will trust you. Here, what wrong Shashi Tharoor has said? Across the world, our stand has been appreciated between Russia and
probably
Ukraine.
even the Congress party can't find anything wrong with it, which is why they haven't come out and said anything. But Sir Abbas, you had a quick rebuttal to make before I ask.
Yes, a quick rebuttal. It's an absolute pleasure to debate with my good friend Rohan Gupta ji. Just about a year back or a couple of days back, he was singing praises of Congress party. Now on the other end, but I would definitely say, of course, he's with the BJP. But the fact is, we need to understand, especially the BJP and Mr. Rohan Gupta, is that all five fingers here are not the same, sir. If the opposition and the ruling dispensation are going to sing the same song, how will it even distinguish between the two? The fact is, of course, the opposition is rightful. It has raised its concerns and so on and so forth. The Congress party also that you're calling out as Darbari culture, it's absolutely unfair, sir, for you to say that. We've been fantastic leaders across the length and breadth of the Congress party, which is the old party of India, the grand old party of India. But now, coming to the matters of national security, coming into the matters of national interest, coming to the issues that make a significant difference in international geopolitics, of course, we must align and come together. You raised the issue of Palestine, sir. Many a times the Congress and the BJP and the ruling dispensation opposition has been on one word. Even Atal Bihari Vajpayee previously has made statement on this, and India stands with one policy, which is a two-state policy in those matters. Even in Bangladesh, many a times Congress leaders have made statements. They have condemned unequivocally, unconditionally condemned what happened there. The fact is, this division politics is absolutely no go. Shashi Tharoor or even a Jairam Ramesh or even Mr. Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, so on and so forth, have made many statements which unite this country and follow through as India as a nation. And respected sir, if India win, we win. It's not about opposition.
Asad Abbas,
and
it's
the ruling
interesting that you
dispensation.
named Jairam Ramesh in that list also, because Jairam Ramesh is also one of those leaders from whom the party as a whole has had to recently distance themselves from a certain comment that they felt was in the party line. But Rohan Gupta, as far as the Congress is concerned, sure, one person is praising what he thinks is right. He's a career diplomat. He comes from a point of view of an expert on the subject matter. But why should the Congress as a whole agree with it?
I'm not saying they have to agree with that. I think everybody should be given a bit of independence to express their views. He should not be treated as enemy of the party. The gentleman whom you named, whether it is Sanyog or Prayog, I don't know. But that gentleman is one person. His opinion is always different from the party's opinion, and he is the in charge of Congress media. See, that's the problem. There are certain Darbaris who have privilege to express their views which are against party, and still they get away. And people like Shashi Tharoor, who have experience in international relationship as a diplomat also, they have been questioned. Why? Why you are questioning somebody who has that kind of respect and who has that kind of experience, that whatever opinion he makes, it obviously makes sense. And again, my friend Syed was saying, obviously, I'm not saying that Congress has to agree with everything what BJP says, but please choose your, opposition for the matters which are relevant to the people rather than just criticizing each and everything. He told that Bangladesh Hindus, yes, they criticize, but after 6 months, after they lost Maharashtra election, they realized that their narrative is going against the narrative of country is feeling. Again, I'm giving you example of Mahakumbh. Why to go against, sentiments of the people where 100 crore people are following particular Sanatan ideology? Why you have to speak against that? People don't appreciate that. But so-called
Ronji, I have a
Darbaris,
small question
who are
for
now
you.
ruling
Small
Congress
question.
party, where, please, let me just complete.
Please,
The
please go
so-called
ahead.
Darbaris who are now ruling Congress party, they have fit in the mind of the senior leaders that whatever they are saying is right, and anybody who makes little sense, whoever it, whether it is state level or what, it is their enemy. Just see the history of Congress party for last 5 years.
That's
People
not
who
true.
had
That's
made
not
sense,
true.
they
You've
have
got to
been
be fair.
thrown out because they make sense, and they make these leaders uncomfortable. Shashi Tharoor has been
Can I
questioned by
get 10
Congress party
seconds?
for just making positive comments on Prime Minister's US visit. He was reprimanded. He was questioned. The local leaders of Kerala, they attacked him. Why? He
Sir,
was
Asad
Ten
Abbas,
going
that
from,
is a
I
fact,
think
isn't it?
you are
Shashi Tharoor
ensuring that
was
people
pulled
like
up
him
for the
leave
kind
the
of comments
party.
that he had made, where he had praised the Prime Minister's recent United States visit. Not just party leaders from his state of Kerala, but he was also here in the national capital. He met with the top brass of the Congress party. What kind of message do you think that sends for a party that says that our voice is being muzzled in the parliament and the government does not let us speak? You are pulling up your own leaders for speaking their mind.
Poonamji, the fact of the matter is, like I said earlier, in the matters of national security, the national interest, international geopolitics, when it comes to we as a country, as a sovereign nation, India, I think be it the opposition or the ruling dispensation, we should certainly come together in one voice, and that unity must be sacrosanct. But on a lighter note, on a humble note, on a very joke note, I'd like to ask my good friend here, Rohan Gupta Sahab, many a times over the last several statements of Shashi Tharoor ji, who I greatly admire, have been quite pro-BJP and pro-Modi. Is it true, sir, that there are talks of your party and Shashi Tharoor ji to join Bharatiya Janata Party? Let me set the cat among the pigeons and ask you this on national television.
Shashi
Is this
Tharoor
true, sir?
himself has denied it,
So I
but
will
sure,
answer
Rohan
you.
Gupta, the question was for you.
I will answer you on national TV that you are pushing leaders like Shashi Tharoor out of the party
Not
by
pushing.
questioning his
Asking a
wisdom, by
question,
questioning his
Rohan
each and
bhai.
every statement. So it is not, you are pushing. You are sensible person. That's why it is written political analyst and not Congress spokesperson. If you have to put that, you have to become Darbari's Charan Champak. You have to become.
You
You
are a
are an
Congress
independent guy, a
man, you
nice
know
guy.
it.
You again, you also
Rohan
represent
bhai,
your
you are
views,
a
and that's why
Congress
you are
leader.
political
You know
analyst.
it
You
yourself.
cannot be, if you are a sensible
You
person,
are a
you
very
cannot
great
be a
leader of the
spokesperson.
Congress
You will be
party, sir.
questioned
You know it
to raise
yourself.
your points.
You're
And
a
that's why
former
the culture has
congressman. You
changed.
know it.
That's what I'm saying. The culture has come. This is the Darbari culture currently, which was never there. Congress is the opposition party.
But you were
It
a
is the
part of
big
it,
history.
sir.
It is
You are
responsibility.
guilty as
Today,
charged,
the
Rohan
narrative
bhai.
what Congress party,
You are
just let me
guilty as
complete.
charged.
Let
You
me
were there
just
But
let
then,
me
Cyrus
complete.
is Abbas, to take
Today-
your point forward, that sure enough, Rohan Gupta may have been a Congress person at one point. He now speaks to the BJP. But there are several others like that who've left the Congress party because perhaps they saw the writing on the wall. They perhaps saw that this party is not going anywhere with what their criticism is. Criticism
But
has to be
Poonam ji-
constructive, not for the sake of
Poonam
it.
ji, there are leaders of BJP who have also left Bharatiya Janata
Sure.
Party. They've also joined Trinamool Congress. They've joined the Congress. This happens. It's a democracy, and in every political party, there are bound to be differences. You know,
But is there
Rohan Bhai is a
democracy?
great
That's
leader.
exactly what
It's
I was
not
asking
about
you. If there
party
was
leaving or
democracy,
something.
Syed
It is
Asad Abbas,
about the
why was
mindset.
Shashi Tharoor pulled up by his own party for making comments that he
Absolutely.
thought he made in his wisdom?
Many a times, Poonam ji, as a matter of fact, Shashi Tharoor Sahab has not taken a party line which has always been through. Many a times he's made a personal statement, not just now, even during the UPA 1. It's been doomsday for him when he tweeted with respect to Indian Premier League, when he was asked to keep himself away from the Indian Premier League. He's tweeted, and many a times he'd say, "Apne पैरों पे इन्होंने कुल्हाड़ी मारी है." He's been in many controversies previously because of his late wife, what happened, and even during the IPL spectrum. Many a times he's been outspoken. That is great, but many a times not towing the party line. Many a times the party has asked you to keep away from the limelight of sports and so on and so forth. He's done that unto himself, and many a times leaders have left the party because they are not given posts. And don't you agree with me, Rohan Bhai? You deserve something
I
better.
see. I
and
had
you
enough
didn't
force.
get it.
I was never there for party in post. It is a
Not
question of
true.
self-respect. And
Then
one more
join the
point. Just one more
NGO.
point. Just to
Join
add
a
one more point.
non-profit, sir.
You are questioning now DK
Let's be
Shivkumar
honest here.
also. Another again you will say that he is also on talks. There was Darbari culture. Now they are questioning DK Shivkumar for praising Mahakum. And he was forced, senior people like he was forced to, criticize Kumbh next day. So this is the
No.
culture. He was
Sir, local
questioned
leaders
for
made the
attending one
statement.
function in Kerala.
DK is
So
a
this is the
leader
problem
who's
here.
respected
You
by
need to understand. Let me just
all the
complete.
family of
Just I
Gandhi,
never
sir.
spoke in between. Let me complete. See, it is the
Right.
question of where to draw a line. You are saying that your party, everybody has independence and everybody can raise their voice. Then why so much of strong rebuttal on people like Shashi Tharoor who have just expressed their views? Why questioning DK Shivkumar just for praising Kumbh? Is it making it
No. Okay,
anti-Congress
I will
if he
answer that.
praises
I will
Kumbh?
answer
No.
that.
That is the problem. That is the
With
mindset
respect
problem which
to,
cannot be
I will
changed.
answer that.
And this
With
is because
respect
of
to
this
DK
Okay,
mindset.
Asad
Shivkumar,
Abbas,
Now Congress has
okay,
completely
Asad Abbas,
lost the
quick
I
rebuttal
will
to
answer
the
that.
DK Shivkumar question.
Yeah.
That brings to the question
It
that I
is.
have been asking, that for a party that preaches democracy, clearly there seems to be very little within the party.
I come
There
from
is no
Karnataka,
margin.
Poonam ji, and I can tell you I come from
Praising Kumbh is
Karnataka.
Rohan Gupta, let him
have-
finish, please.
Yes, just 10 seconds, Ron Bhai. I have followed DK Shivkumar through and through over the last 20 years of my life. I come from Bengaluru, Karnataka. I have had many great opportunities to meet and greet with DK Shivkumar. And I can promise you the fact that with DK Shivkumar's presence at Mahakumbh, show me one national leader or a senior leader who actually made a statement which is against, not a few irrelevant local leaders who have nothing to do with it.
They're
In fact,
not
DK
local
Shivkumar
leaders, sir.
ji
They're
said
ministers in the
he's a
state
proud
government.
Hindu.
They are office
He's a-
bearers of the party
He's a
in the
proud
state.
Hindu, and he
Absolutely.
loves his religion, and he's a proud Indian, and he's a congressman, and which he will never
That is
leave
not
his party.
appreciated by
Sir,
Congress
we
party.
must understand that a few leaders who are irrelevant have
If
nothing
tomorrow
to do
he is
with
out of the
anything.
party,
You
it is
cannot
because
take
of the
their statement
Darbaris.
seriously.
If
Did
tomorrow he also decides
Priyanka
to quit
Gandhi,
the party,
Sonia
it is
When
because
Gandhi,
of the
office
or
bearer
Darbaris.
of the
Rahul
Congress
Gandhi make a
party, Syed
statement
Asad
on that?
Abbas, makes
It's
a
not fair.
comment like this on social media in public domain to advise DK Shivkumar, who's the Deputy Chief Minister of the state, to say that you're sending the wrong kind of message to party cadre.
No, absolutely not. It is that one AICC member or a secretary who's made that statement, and maybe a local leader from Karnataka, but that absolutely holds no relevance of what DK Shivkumar
See,
is,
that is at
his
the
political
behest of
standing in
Darbaris,
the
Syed.
Congress
You
party.
don't know Congress
Rohan Bhai,
party
just
or
10
what?
seconds.
They
Rohan
have
Bhai,
no
10
courage to
seconds, Rohan
speak.
Bhai.
Okay,
10
It is
seconds,
okay,
Rohan Bhai.
let's not digress. Let's bring
10
back the
seconds.
subject
10
to Shashi
seconds.
Tharoor and
Yes, 10
foreign
seconds.
policy. Rohan Gupta, I want to ask you this. Very often when the Congress party or anybody in the opposition has questioned the Indian government's position on any foreign policy matters or the kind of decisions that the government has taken, the BJP has often said that this is not opposing the government but opposing the country as a whole. But why is that? Can the opposition not ask questions of a certain decision or a policy decision that the government has taken? Isn't that well within the rights of democracy as well?
See, absolutely, Poonam. See, as PM has said, that criticism is essence of democracy. Absolutely, absolutely, opposition has complete right to question the government, and government has to answer, and that's why the parliament is there. It is not that government runs away from the responsibility. But in that process, when you go out of the country, criticize our country, do you feel that is right? Do you feel that international forum is the stage to discuss our domestic issues? Definitely you raise questions on Mr. Modi and BJP and their policies and all. But going out of country saying that India is at war, north and south, all these things, why to discuss our internal issues outside? Definitely you have parliament
Ron,
where you can go and ask
during
questions to
UPA
the
1,
government,
during
and
UPA
government
2, didn't you
they have
question
to
their
answer
foreign
your
policies
questions.
under Dr.
But
Manmohan
using
Singh?
international platform for
Didn't you call him a
criticism of
weak prime
government,
minister?
just I
Isn't
was
that
not
fair?
speaking, Sayed bhai. Asad
You
bhai,
you
please
you
let
spoke
me
when I
complete.
spoke, Ron.
Just
Bhai.
let me complete.
You spoke.
Just let me complete. Just let me
Okay,
complete.
okay. Give me
Again,
10
my
seconds
point
after
is,
this.
Poonam, you have seen that just before the start of any parliament session, that international report will come and Congress will act on that. This is not Sanyog, this is Prayog. That is the problem. In opposing BJP or government, if you are going against the country, that is a serious problem. And that is what the whole country is observing
I
now. And
need to
that's why
make a quick
Congress is
point here,
losing
Poonam ji.
elections after
Sure,
10
Asad
elections.
Abbas,
seconds.
Asad Abbas,
10
quick rebuttal,
seconds.
please. I'm running out of
Quick
time. Go
rebuttal.
ahead.
Coming to this, during the United Progressive Alliance 1, UPA 2, under the rule of Dr. Manmohan Singh ji, many a times, BJP leaders, including the late Sushma Swaraj ji, has raised many questions on the foreign policy. Let's agree to that. It's all right. When you're in opposition, you need to question. But the fact is, when it comes to one nation, we need to come together as one voice. Criticism is a part of democracy. Everybody agrees. Modi ji, me, yourself, and Rohan Gupta ji.
And we really hope the Congress party follows that as well. And unfortunately, Shashi Tharoor does
Absolutely.
not get pulled up for this particular comment.
DK Shivkumar also.
We'll of course keep an eye out if there is an official response to this from the Congress party, because so far there has been none. But I thank you both gentlemen for joining us here on this edition. Shifting focus now to the one story that grabbed headlines for the last 24 hours. Smiles, waves and thumbs up. It couldn't get any better than that at 3:27 a.m. this morning when astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore landed safely back on Earth after a 9-month stay aboard the International Space Station. The SpaceX Dragon spacecraft carrying the two astronauts along with the two other astronauts, Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov, made their re-entry before deploying parachutes for a smooth splashdown off the coast of Florida. NASA officials praised their resilience, their adaptability through this extended mission. The White House celebrated the successful mission as well. Promise made, promise kept was what SpaceX founder Elon Musk said right on their arrival. In fact, Prime Minister Modi too welcomed Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore, and that tribute was especially special since Sunita Williams can trace her roots back to Gujarat. She's even met the Prime Minister when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. But here's that moment for which several thousand Indians and people around the world saw that splashdown at about 3:27 a.m. this morning.
And splashdown. Crew 9 back on Earth.
A harrowing finish to the end of a long journey. Parachutes deployed, slowing the capsule barreling towards Earth. The crew 9 astronauts landed off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida.
And SpaceX Freedom splashdown.
NASA astronaut Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov rode alongside Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams, finally back to Earth, splashing down Tuesday evening after Butch and Sunny spent more than 285 days aboard the International Space Station. The Boeing Starliner they rode up to space in was deemed unfit for them to return on due to helium leaks and propulsion issues. The pair was able to hitch a ride back home aboard a SpaceX Dragon capsule.
We see main chutes cut. Nick, Alex, Butch, Sunny, on behalf of SpaceX, welcome home.
After their splashdown, recovery vessels zoomed up to the Crew Dragon, standing at the ready after the capsule plunged back into the atmosphere. SpaceX recovery ship named Megan used a large rig to haul the capsule carrying the astronauts out of the water. Afterwards, the crew was slated to be flown to Ellington Field and finally taken here to nearby Johnson Space Center to eventually be reunited with their families.
The big issue is these two astronauts missed their families.
The astronauts were originally slated to be away from home for an 8-day mission, but had their timeline extended to 9 months. Back here on Earth, their capsule was greeted by dolphins. At the Johnson Space Center, I'm Lee Waldman.